What's good, guys? SteelTwins back at you with another preseason recap. In fact, our last preseason recap for the 2021 NFL preseason, which is good to say because we can put the preseason behind us. The regular season is just around the corner, which means real football will be upon us. The games will count. They'll be a lot more interesting. It's going to be a fun time, man.
It is.
You know, the NFL offseason, in my opinion, it flew by. The preseason flew by, and here we are with the regular season. Within the next week and a half. It's crazy.
It is.
It's really crazy as we start to prepare for Buffalo. But before we get into the topic of today's discussion, I just want a quick announcement from us, the SteelTwins.
Yes, with the regular season coming around, so will the cold weather. The fall season's coming around very shortly, then so will winter be coming around. So when it comes to cold weather, we're obviously going to need some apparel to keep us warm throughout these cold weather times.
Now, me personally, the fall and winter seasons are my favorite seasons of the year. In fact, I think it's the best time of the year. Not only because I'm a big holiday guy, but football has a big part of that.
So we would like to announce that us and JB412, huge shout out to him, we on our own merch shop, SteelTwins.com, have decided to release our own fall/winter apparel where you can get hoodies, beanies, plus other stuff that will be released on the shop very soon. So if any of these interest you, definitely check out SteelTwins.com and check out the fall and winter apparel.
The link is in the description below. Now into the game.
What happened?
Well, the Steelers lost 34-9. It was a pretty miserable game to watch, I'm not going to lie. It's the preseason.
It is preseason. It is backups. You know, you don't really see much
right.
of backups.
But the main story of today's game was, you know, obviously the backups, specifically the quarterbacks, because Ben and Mason sat today as they're resting, obviously. So Dwayne Haskins got the start, and Josh Dobbs will relieve him into the second half. To start off, man, the offense, I guess I could say not only with Dobbs, or not only with Haskins, but with Dobbs as well. It's just, it was not good at all.
No, they never moved the chains. They never got anything going in general.
No.
They got off to a really rough start, and pretty much throughout the rest of the game, they never even had a chance to get anything going.
No, in fact, they scored only one touchdown today, which was a passing touchdown from Dwayne Haskins in the fourth quarter in garbage time to Ray McLeod, who he himself had a pretty off game, to be real with you.
Yeah, I mean, it was not a pretty sight for Dwayne Haskins. You know, we all had a lot of hype and a lot of hope that Haskins would do something today, considering he was finally going to get a start, something that we all wanted to see.
Yeah.
But just like we say, he was just off to a rough start.
And he did face some serious competition as he faced the Panthers' first team. We saw J.C. Horn. We saw Yetter Gross-Matos. We saw Brian Burns. We saw Jeremy Chin. You know, the main guys you would see on the Panthers' starting defense. We saw them against Dwayne Haskins today, and Haskins didn't perform too well. He was just off to a really rough start. You know, check downs. He threw a bad pass to Derek Watt on a flat route, which was behind Derek Watt and was tipped up and picked off, which was a rough pass by Haskins. And then I believe the next offensive drive, he muffed a snap, which was just bad.
It was not a good. This game was not a really good case for him.
It was definitely his worst game of the preseason, that's for sure. But you could say the same thing possibly towards Josh Dobbs, because Josh Dobbs didn't do anything better when he came into the second half. In fact, he got injured, and Haskins had to come in and finish the game, where he eventually threw that garbage time touchdown.
Right.
But outside of that, you know, I guess we could confirm that Dwayne Haskins is the number 3 quarterback in Dobbs. I don't know what happens with Dobbs. I'd like to see the Steelers try to trade him, but I think that's thrown out the window now because of his injury. And honestly, they'll probably just keep him on the practice squad.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with.
Yeah, which is perfectly fine. You know, I'd say he's definitely one of the guys you definitely want to keep on the practice squad.
Oh, for sure.
You know, but Haskins, you know, for this year, his journey, you know, since he was released by the football team and then signed to a future reserve contract for the Steelers, I mean, yes, we'd like for him to possibly compete for Mason for the number 2 quarterback position.
That was never going to happen, though.
No, with Mason's experience and with the players and the coaches and everything. For this year, Haskins just needed to try to fight for a spot on the team.
And I truly do believe, and I think Rob here would agree with me, that he has earned that.
Yeah, he has.
Over Dobbs. And he's gotten reps over Dobbs due to it.
Yeah, he has. He's played better than Dobbs. You know, I think they both had equal playing time in some aspect, and Haskins has definitely been more superior.
For sure.
And I'm actually happy for Haskins, you know. At least he's on a At least we think he will be on a football team. I think he's earned the right to be on this football team, even as a depth piece.
Maybe we're assuming too early, as the cuts aren't due till Tuesday, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Which, by the way, I gotta say that I don't think most of these dudes are going to make it to Tuesday, because this was awful for most of these guys.
Yeah, outside of the quarterback, position to watch out for, there was really nothing else at all to really look forward to. And you saw guys, our backups, step in, and they did not do well. Benny Snell finally got his first bit of action in this game, considering he was hurt throughout the majority of training camp and preseason. He played.
This was his only game in the preseason.
And he did not do much.
He looked exactly like he did last year and the year before that. And I'm not even going to blame it on the injury, because he hasn't changed since day one. I honestly don't see any possible way he makes the 53. I don't.
At least we don't think he should.
I know Tom loves his Benny Snell football. He's preached it ever since drafting him out of Kentucky. We liked him coming out of Kentucky. I ain't going to lie.
Yeah, we thought he was going to be a nice bell cow type of, back. Even when we had James Conner, we thought he was a
rotational guy.
Yeah, he's going to be a nice rotational piece to James Conner. We felt like they were going to be used in a great way.
But
we never really did that, and Snell just never lived up to the potential coming out of Kentucky.
He's just very stiff. He hasn't changed since day one, so I don't see how he makes the roster, honestly, unless they keep 4 backs. But again, why would they do that? There's no need. And why would you take a roster spot from another serious position that you need to add depth to, like corner, like safety, like linebacker, like edge?
Yeah.
Like O-line.
Yeah, there's no point keeping a fourth running back. I mean, there's the third back on the depth chart can literally do exactly what the fourth back can do. There's no point.
Literally.
It's literally Najee Harris, Anthony McFarland, and now on depending on Kalen Ballage.
Possibly.
I think Ballage has definitely earned that right. I think he has more burst. I think he's more agile.
And he's
faster.
He definitely has more ability on special teams.
He does. But as for the rest of the offense, the receivers, Claypool and Washington played, but they didn't do much with Haskins in there.
They did not. Raymond McLeod had a very off game. Matthew Sex Machine. That's my nickname for him. Sex Machine.
Yeah, it didn't turn out that way today.
No, he had 2 muff punts.
Especially his first one, which I don't know why he intended to go for the ball when he had the ball, even if he held on to the ball, he was still going to get tackled immediately.
I think his thing was he's trying to make a roster spot, so he's trying to make plays, but when it comes to those moments, trying to make a roster spot isn't worth it. In fact, you trying to make that play just might have cost you a roster spot, while if you did nothing, that might have increased your chances.
Right.
So
in those moments, you got to be smart.
But let's be real. He was never going to make the 53-man roster, because they're going to keep the same 5 receivers they did last year. They're not going to keep 6, and he'll probably be on the practice squad.
More likely.
He'll continue to grow.
Yeah.
As for the defense, man, the D-line looked good. Bugs looked good. Wormley looked good. I think he got a sack. Loudermilk got a sack towards the end of the game. So the D-line, especially the depth, is looking damn good. I think we got to keep 7 D linemen this year for the depth chart. For sure.
I definitely think so, yeah.
Obviously, Hayward, Tuitt, Alualu are the starters. Then you got Bugs. Then you got Loudermilk. Then you got Carlos Davis, and Chris Wormley. Those are 4 versatile D linemen that have all showed up this preseason. And that's a stacked D line.
Yeah, that D line, man, is so good.
That's a damn good D line.
And even our pass rush, too. Even our backups. Cassius Marsh did decent today. Jameer Jones, he made one mistake where he didn't really finish a tackle for loss, but since after that play, he actually got a good sack in the game, and he actually did real good the rest of the game.
Yeah, he got a sack in the game. He looked good on special teams. I would say he's earned his spot for the 53 as well. He was one of the guys that really needed a showcase in this last preseason game, and that's exactly what he did. I think he should make the roster over Marsh. I think Quincy Roche should make the roster as well. Yeah, I think we should keep 4 edge guys. Marsh being excluded. Just my opinion. I don't know if they're going to do that because the depth they're going to have in Jones and Roche might be too young for them. But I think Jones this preseason has shown he's capable of being a nice rotational piece.
I agree.
And I think Roche can get his feet wet in special teams before being moved up there as well.
Yeah, no doubt. It goes to show our pass rush and our defensive line overall, our front 7 is stacked as hell.
Yes, it is.
It's great.
It's been that way for a few years now.
It has, but I think this is really at the top of its game.
It's
this
crazy.
Season. It's really good.
And we got Alex Highsmith coming to a second year. TJ Watt's about to be a paid made man soon.
A mega millionaire, really.
Yeah, seriously. So
the guy's going to get the bag, and he deserves every single penny of that.
Every single penny.
Every single penny, man. 2-time uncrowned Defensive Player of the Year.
Yes. As for the secondary, Joe Hayden, Cam Sutton sat, so we got to see James Pierre and Justin Lane outside initially. James Pierre had a great game, not allowing a lot of catches, stopping the rushing game, getting a lot of good tackles on some short routes. So James Pierre, man, had a great game. I honestly think the Steelers might be forced to start Pierre opposite of Hayden and push Sutton to the slot due to our injuries at the slot. Antoine Brooks got released due to injury. He should be back for the practice squad. We got to see 7th-round rookie Trey Norwood in the slot today. He looked pretty good, but due to his lack of ability there, or lack of time there, I should say, do you trust him to be the Week 1 starter? Or do you put Arthur Millette there, not knowing his injury status? So the slot corner position, after losing Hilton in free agency, is hurting us bad.
It's quite uncertain too, especially at nickel corner. It may have to lead the Steelers to giving Pierre the opportunity, which I think he should have that opportunity. I think Pierre's definitely broken out since last year, being an undrafted rookie free agent, making the team without any preseason, making the team, getting reps over Justin Lane, who was a former 3rd-round selection for us.
And balling in camp and even showing it a little bit in preseason.
Yeah.
So I think this guy might be pushed into a starting role. And if that's the case, that is crazy to see this guy's very fast progression.
His growth, man, already.
A fast rising star for an undrafted rookie.
Yeah, moving Sutton down to the nickel corner position, which is where Sutton, I feel like, is best at. I don't mind him outside. I think he's a fine outside
He can
corner.
play outside.
But I feel like if you put him in the nickel, you at least have someone credible there. And you got Hayden, who's a capable number 1 corner still for his age, and Pierre, who could be a very fast rising star in the secondary.
Yeah, and a nice complimentary to Hayden, for sure.
I feel like when it comes to the cornerback situation currently, I think that's the best case scenario.
So that honestly might be the case. I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll see what they do. They could pick up a free agent corner. Maybe someone gets cut during the final cut, someone of worthy noting, I'd say.
Noting starting ability, potentially. It's possible.
Like a familiar name. Maybe they scoop him up. Maybe they trade for someone. But the thing is, what do they trade? Because, they've traded a 4th, a 5th, a 6th for depth. And Skolbert.
Yeah.
So they don't really have a lot to trade. And I'm not trading James Washington after seeing the game Ray McLeod had. Because his depth is very important this year. I know it's weird to say that when it comes to the Steelers wide receiver group, but believe me, James Washington's depth this year is very important.
It is.
Very important. So I'm not trading him for a slot corner. I'm not trading James Washington at all. I'm keeping that man.
No, you keep that guy. You make sure you have a credible depth piece at wide receiver.
So I don't know if they trade for someone or what they would trade for someone, because I don't know what the hell they could trade. So if they pick up a corner, which I'm expecting, it's probably going to be after the final cuts, as the Steelers have done that before. They'll name their initial 53, and then they'll pick up some guys after other teams' cuts, like they did last year. I guess I would say the most important part of this game that we got to see, and it was good to see actually, was the punter showdown between Jordan Berry and Presley Harvin III. We actually got to see a true showdown. It wasn't no one punt for Berry, one punt for Harvin. It was legit splitting back and forth.
Mm-hmm. And I got to say, both guys look pretty good today.
They did. And I'll even say it, Berry is I'm not going to lie, he's looking solid.
No, Berry's fighting. I'll give Jordan Berry that. After being a very inconsistent punter for us for several years, he's fighting for that starting position at punter.
Yeah, and both guys showed good hang time, good distance. They spotted guys within their own 20. But my biggest fear, especially with Berry, is he'll just get complacent again. Like, he has a little competition, he looks good, then after the competition's gone, he feels like his job's secured, so he just gets complacent.
Yeah, if you think about it, if you look at last year, he was that way too later on into the season. He didn't have Dustin Colquitt to fight over because he sucked. We had to sign him back. Berry was there for the team. He played good for a few weeks, and then his punting style just kind of decreased. I kind of feel like we should give Harvin the job because I feel like he's earned it because he's been playing real good this past preseason and training camp from what I've been hearing. And he's a lot younger too.
That and they put up a draft pick for this guy.
Possibly.
So I'd keep Harvin. Again, does Jory have any trade value? I doubt it. I truly doubt it.
I highly doubt
it. But if someone can trade a punter, it's Kevin Colbert. I'm going to say that right now.
The guy's a goddamn genius. He'll trade a pair of socks for a starting cornerback. I swear to God.
That's essentially what he did for Minkah Fitzpatrick. So.
He pretty much did.
But outside of that, guys, the preseason's over. The Steelers lose 34-9, but the main stories coming out of this game was definitely the punters And I would say a near confirmation that Haskins is the number 3.
Yeah.
And I would also say the pass rush showed a lot of promise. The defensive depth along the pass rush, the D-line, sure as hell looked good. Showed us a lot of potential. Showed us a lot of comfort and confidence. And, of course, James Pierre.
Yeah, he really shined today.
So I'd say that for sure, man. We'll see what the Steelers do.
But nonetheless, that's a preseason. That is the preseason. We go 3-1. It doesn't really matter. But the preseason's out the way. Now we can look forward to week 1.
Yes.
The Buffalo Bills.
Literally.
What a way to start the season.
The Buffalo Bills.
It ain't going to be easy. It's not.
No, but I'm looking forward to it.
So am I. I'm actually pumped up. I'm excited.
Looking hella forward to it. That's for sure. We'll keep you guys updated on the 53-man roster and the final cuts and stuff like that. But other than that, man, preseason's over. Thank God regular season's around the corner. Feels good, man. And let us know you guys' thoughts down below. See you guys in the next one.
Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace!